The next topic is internet, and in the internet chapter these are the important topics which you have to see before going to your exam. The first one is the basics of internet, and the second one is history of internet, and the third one is how internet works. Out of these two are very important for the exam point of view. Okay, so let's see these topics. So the first and foremost is the definition of internet. Okay, and the definition says that it is global network of computers which are connected together to share information, and basically it is a type of WAN. And all these terminologies like LAN, MAN, WAN we have already covered in computer network chapter. Okay, so basically internet is wide area network, since all the PCs, all the computers, all the nodes are connected all over the world. Okay, so it becomes a network of networks. Okay, for example, a school has some network. Okay, and it is accessing internet of some other country server, say Google. So it is making a network, right? So that's why it is called a networks of networks also. And sometime it is also known as super network or the meta network or information highway or protocol networking. Okay, what does these terminologies mean? This means that it is a super network. Super network means which is the networks of networks, and basically it provide a gateway or the information highway for the person to communicate with the each other. Okay, so it become a super network of all the networks. And the next one, it uses TCP IP protocol. Okay, and this is very popular protocol which is used in the internet. And the very important pointer to the internet is the internet connectivity. Okay, so who is going to provide the internet connectivity? It is basically internet service provider. Okay, some companies, some authority is there which we are telling right now, it is internet service provider. And if you talk about the India, so the first in ISP in India is VSNL. Okay, it is similar to BSNL. Okay, it is Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited. And right now there are some other ISP in India like BSNL, Jio, Airtel. All these companies are providing the internet connectivity, internet services. Okay, the next one is the major usage of internet. Okay, so major usage of internet, as you know, it is a communication. Okay, suppose I want to communicate with the person sitting on the America, so internet is the best way to communicate with that person. It can be through email, it can be through chat. And the next major usage of internet is e-commerce and online banking. Okay, so everything nowadays is connected to the networks. Okay, so e-commerce is the terminology which is more specifically to shopping on the internet. Okay, from internet you can buy the product and you will get delivered in your home. Okay, the next important is the history of internet. Okay, this is, I will mark it as very important because from exam you will get many questions from this chapter, this topic itself. Okay, the very first history of the internet begins in 1969. Okay, what exactly happens at 1969 is the ARPANET started in USA by defense agency, that is DARPA. Okay, so one network which is named as ARPANET is started in US by defense ARPA. Okay, what does this ARPA stand for? It is Advanced Research Project Agency network is net. This net is basically network. So ARPANET stand for Advanced Research Project Agency. Okay, and D stand for defense. Okay, so Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, and ARPANET is Advanced Research Project Agency network. Okay, got it. And this is the first network that has planted the seed of internet. Okay, you can say, since they have made a network, so the first network is the ARPANET, and this network has basically planted the seed of internet. Coming to the next year is 1970. What exactly happened in 1970 is these two person. Okay, this person is Winton Cerf and this one is Robert Kahn. Okay, so these two person, they have developed one model called TCP/IP model or TCP/IP protocol. Okay, so this protocol is so easy and so benefit for the network scenario. Okay, so this protocol is widely used in the computer networks at that time. Okay, and which has basically evolved the concept of internet over the time. And these two person, Winton Cerf and Robert Kahn, are known as father of internet. Why they are known as father of internet? Because they developed TCP/IP model. Okay, next one is year 1983. In year 1983, TCP/IP protocol was adopted and it became standard for the internet. Okay, previously this protocol was widely used, but in 1983 it becomes standard for the internet. In year 1989, as you know, that www, that is very important for the internet to work, that is World Wide Web, was invented by TBL, that is Tim Berners-Lee. Okay, so this concept World Wide Web was invented by Tim Berners-Lee. Okay, and in 1990, what happened next is that internet, which was private at that time, which is mostly commonly used in US, it has become public. Okay, so internet become public, and because of which the web browser come into picture, and the World Wide Web, which is basically the web browser developed by Tim Berners-Lee, it became the first web browser. Okay, since it uses World Wide Web service. Okay, and it was later named as Nexus, which is Next Computer, by the TBL. Okay, so first web browser was invented, you can say, in 1990. It is World Wide Web. Coming to 1993, since that was character based. Okay, so graphical user interface web browser was developed. It is Mosaic. All these pointers we have already covered in the web browser chapter. We are repeating in once again in this particular chapter to sake the simplicity. Okay, so first popular graphical web browser is Mosaic, and it was developed by Mark Anderson in NCSA, that is National Center for Supercomputing Application. Okay, and in 1994, one more web browser has come, but this time it is a commercial one. Okay, commercial web browser, that is Netscape Navigator, was developed, and later, you know, it become Mozilla Firefox, right? So Netscape Navigator become the first commercial web browser which is developed by Netscape company. Okay, in 1995, which is very important year for the India, that first internet service in India was provided by VSNL, okay, Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited, on the Independence Day, that is 15th August 1995. This is very important pointer Okay, so for year 1995, the first internet service in India was provided. In the same year, Microsoft released Internet Explorer, and for Indian point of view, in 1996, first Indian web browser, that is Arvind or Arvis, was developed by Center for Development Computing Agency, that is CDAC. Okay, so CDAC developed first Indian web browser, Arvind or Arvis. Okay, so we have seen a historical point. Now let's see how basically internet works. Okay, I will give you a short uh, view on this. Okay, I'm not going to detail how internet works, but the basic you will get. Okay, so the first thing is that all the devices have IP address, and all those devices are connected using some IP address, that is internet protocol address. Okay, and basically internet uses client server model. Okay, client server, what do you mean by client server? Client is basically the device or the node, for example it can be your computer, phone or browser, that requests some information. Okay, server is a remote computer which basically provide the information. It is like you want some information, and the server is the information warehouse where you will get the information. Okay, so in that case the client is the your computer or your phone or your browser which is going to request the information, whereas server is the remote computer which provide the information. Okay, and basically it works through various protocol, and more specifically these are the important protocol, like for HTTP and HTTPS for web browsing, email like we have seen in the protocol chapter, SMTP, IMAP and POP3 for the email, and file transfer protocol for FTP. There are many other protocol which are used in the internet, but these are the important protocols which are commonly asked in the exam.